On March 22, 2007, Flight 709 of Skyway Airlines departed Seattle-Tacoma International Airport at 6:41 p.m., bound for Denver. It was an ordinary domestic flight, carrying 87 passengers and 5 crew members. Weather conditions were clear, and the 2-hour trip was expected to be routine. Among the passengers were families heading home from spring break, a group of business travelers, and a young boy traveling alone to visit his grandparents. The crew included Captain Martin Hale, a veteran pilot with over 20 years of experience, and First Officer Dana Reed, known for her calm under pressure. The flight attendants were cheerful, the kind of professionals who could make even nervous flyers feel safe. The takeoff was smooth. At 7:15 p.m., the flight checked in with air traffic control near Spokane. Captain Hale's voice was calm as he reported. Descending to 12,000 feet, clear skies ahead. Estimated arrival on time. It was the last normal communication anyone would ever hear from Flight 709. The disappearance. At 7:32 p.m., radar screens showed the plane moving steadily along its path. Then, without warning, the blip flickered and vanished completely. Controllers assumed it was a temporary technical issue, but repeated attempts to contact the crew went unanswered. At 7:34 p.m., they declared a possible emergency. By 7:50 p.m., fighter jets were scrambled to search the area. No wreckage, no distress signal, nothing. It was as if Flight 709 had ceased to exist. Families waiting at Denver International were told only that there was a communication issue. Behind the scenes, panic grew. Search and rescue teams prepared for a crash site somewhere in the mountains of Wyoming or Colorado. The return. At 8:27 p.m., exactly 55 minutes after disappearing, a call came from a small regional airport in Wyoming. A control tower operator, his voice shaking, reported. "There's a plane, it's coming in for landing." No response to our hails. "It's, God, it's landing itself." The operator identified the aircraft, Flight 709. The plane touched down perfectly on the short runway. Its landing gear extended at the last moment, as though controlled by an invisible hand. The engines powered down gradually. The aircraft rolled to a stop, dead silent except for the hiss of cooling metal. Emergency crews rushed to the scene. When they opened the cabin doors, what they found was worse than any crash. The empty cabin. The plane was completely empty. Every seatbelt was fastened, trays folded, and luggage stowed neatly in the overhead compartments. There were no signs of a struggle, no spilled drinks, no torn fabric. It was as if the passengers and crew had simply vanished into thin air mid-flight. Meals and drinks sat untouched on the service carts. Newspapers lay open on seats, pages fluttering gently in the breeze. The cockpit was immaculate, no Captain Hale, no First Officer Reed. The controls were set to autopilot, but the data logs indicated the plane had been manually operated for its landing. Investigators discovered one chilling detail. At seat 14A, a child's drawing was pinned to the headrest with a silver thumbtack. The crude crayon image showed a massive, dark figure looming above a small airplane. At the bottom, in shaky handwriting, were the words, "We are above you." The black box recording. The cockpit voice recorder was immediately recovered. The last clear words were from Captain Hale, recorded at 7:15 p.m. Descending to 12,000 feet, clear skies ahead. Then there was a low, droning hum, a sound no one could identify. Over the next several minutes, the hum grew louder, almost unbearable. The recording ended abruptly with a sharp burst of static, followed by silence. Experts from the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, said the sound didn't match any known aircraft or environmental noise. One audio engineer described it as like something alive, vibrating inside the metal of the plane itself. Theories begin. News of the bizarre incident spread quickly. Families of the missing passengers demanded answers, but authorities offered none. Theory 1, Government Experiment Gone Wrong. Some believed Flight 709 was part of a secret military experiment involving radar cloaking or teleportation technology. The Wyoming airport was near several restricted areas, fueling speculation. Theory 2, Hijacking by unknown forces. Others suspected terrorism or hijacking, though no group ever claimed responsibility. Why leave the plane intact, with no ransom demand? Why take the people but not the machine? Theory 3, Supernatural Event. Online forums exploded with paranormal theories. Some pointed to the boy's drawing as proof of alien abduction or interdimensional beings. The phrase, "We are above you," was interpreted as a message from something watching humanity from the skies. The flight attendant's diary. 2 days later, investigators uncovered a crucial piece of evidence, a small leather notebook belonging to flight attendant Melissa Grant. It was found tucked inside a service cart in the galley. Most of the entries were mundane, notes about meals served and passenger requests. But the final entry, dated the day of the flight, sent chills down investigators' spines. There's a man in seat 9C who wasn't on the boarding list. No one remembers checking him in. I asked for his ticket, but he just smiled and said, "We don't need those where we're going." I told Captain Hale. He laughed it off. But something about his eyes, they looked too dark. And every time I pass him, the cabin feels colder. Passenger manifests confirmed there was no record of anyone seated in 9C. The investigation collapses. The official investigation quickly unraveled. The FBI sealed all evidence, citing national security. The aircraft itself was transported to an undisclosed location, never seen again. Families of the missing were given vague statements about possible mechanical failure, but no death certificates were issued. A whistleblower later claimed that in the weeks following the incident, several investigators disappeared. Their homes were left as if they had stepped out for a moment, coffee cups half full, TVs still playing, eerily similar to the empty plane. Strange sightings. In the months after Flight 709, there were reports of strange aerial phenomena across the Midwest. Farmers described hearing the same droning hum late at night, growing louder until their windows rattled. Pilots reported seeing enormous, shadowy shapes moving through the clouds, too large to be aircraft. On several occasions, radar detected phantom planes, matching the exact signature of Flight 709, even though the aircraft was supposedly locked away. The most chilling report came from a commercial pilot flying near Wyoming. He claimed to see Flight 709 flying alongside his own plane. Its windows completely dark, no lights, no pilots. When he blinked, it was gone. The final message. Exactly 1 year after the incident, on March 22, 2008, families of the missing gathered for a memorial at the Wyoming airport. During the ceremony, the control tower received a garbled transmission. The voice was faint but unmistakable, it was Captain Hale. Descending to 12,000 feet, clear skies ahead. Then came the hum, louder than ever, before the transmission cut out. Radar confirmed no aircraft was in the area at that time. Moments later, one of the family members screamed. Pinned to the back of a bench near the runway was another child's drawing. This one showed dozens of small figures floating upward into a black void, with the same haunting words scrawled beneath. "We are above you." Today. Flight 709 remains one of aviation's most chilling unsolved mysteries. No wreckage, no bodies, no explanation. The official story lists the plane as lost in flight. Unofficially, pilots whisper about a no-fly zone near the Wyoming mountains where strange radar echoes still appear. Some refuse to fly near it, claiming they've heard the hum through their headsets, just before it stops, leaving only silence. Late at night, when the skies are clear, locals near the small airport say they sometimes see lights descending in the distance, hear the faint roar of jet engines. And, if they listen closely, a child's voice whispering on the wind. "We are above you."